Me?
Quality.
All right, we've started recording. We're on. So we were just having our little weekly team catch up. There's obviously as the main team, we've got us four, and we've also got Fran, but she's looking after Jessie down in the house. But we're just having a bit of a catch up then, going through how we feel like everyone's getting on the programme. Some people saying that they're starting to lack a little bit of motivation. And then we've also had a few questions asking what's going to be the crack when the gym's open again, and how will I get back into the programme. So we were just waiting then until Brad got out of his little spare room that has been chucked in. And the first thing we started talking about was we've put a few posts out recently about negative self-talk, whether people are finding themselves doing it a little bit more now because the situation that we're in, obviously sometimes it's quite, I guess depressing is the word, just like gets you down, that you're stuck in your house and you kind of stuck to certain things, certain rules and training, which is usually our outlet to things like that has been capped somewhat, and we don't have access to everything like we usually do. So it can easily get into that rut of saying I can't be arsed, or don't want to do this, or I'm sick of doing burpees, blah blah blah. And the plan is over the coming weeks just to get more stuff out to you about positive self-talk. But before that, one of the main things is managing your expectations, and that's expectations for your training, when you're going into your training session, and expectations of your results. And it sounds like it's a negative way or a pessimistic way to approach it, but if you just drop your expectation level, if you're not feeling great, let's say you're not feeling hugely motivated, you're not feeling like you want to jump on and grind out an hour session on your patio at home, then just drop your expectations. Don't go into the session expecting to hit a certain amount of reps or a certain time or perform a certain way or even feel like you're doing well. Just drop the expectation, set the bar low, and then you're more likely then to achieve that expectation and then surpass how well you thought you would do. And it's not a defeatist way of approaching training. Sometimes if motivation is low, then there's a reason, but you're then able to use training as a tool to bump your motivation back up and start feeling better about yourself, rather than getting kind of swamped down and doing a training session and feeling crap, and then just generally just snowballing into feeling worse and worse, and then sacking it all off.
I think a really good way that we found, because we've just kind of made a little WhatsApp group of a few of us, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we just kind of talk to each other about training, say, oh, this today I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
And then your kind of mates hold you to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think if a few people have got other friends on the program, just create that little WhatsApp group with 3-4 of you, or whatever, and try and get the same vibe going, because everyone's missing that community aspect right now, and that's going to bring it back, and it's going to just help that with the motivation. It's really helped us. I was kind of surprised, really, just how a little WhatsApp group could actually make such a big difference, really.
And at first you think, oh, fucking hell, another WhatsApp group, another load of messages.
Yeah.
But you kind of do need that social interaction. I know it's only through text and it's not ideal, and it might be the odd video. But I found, when was it? I was out on the bike ride yesterday, and there was something I was doing. I think it might be some squats from the day before, and I found myself getting motivated to be able to put in a good time or put in some good graphs, and then be able to screenshot and send it to the lads in the group, or be able to lift a certain way and be able to tell everyone, just the mates that are in this group. That started motivating me, although usually it's a bit of your own intrinsic motivation, but if it helps, then it helps, and if it gets you through. We've been doing it now for a couple of weeks, and we're all looking forward to training each day. So yeah, like Jack said, definitely, even if the guys that aren't on the program with you, you've just got a bunch of people that you usually train with, you know, that are doing similar things, and you can push scores back and forward, give each other ideas of what you're doing or what you're not doing. Yeah, definitely.
What I've been doing, like the daily goals as well. So choosing apart from the program and thinking I want to put a little bit more into that. So like the workout, I'll just be like, right, I'm gonna push hard on this part of the workout or the program today. Just set myself little goals. That's just motivated me just to get through it each day, if you like.
Yeah.
We've been doubling up, kind of doing that. So, like you said, in setting goals in that, like, still be like, right, today I'm going to hit 150 triple off the blocks or whatever. So that's him setting his goal. Yeah. And then obviously, because we're all be like, yeah, you've got this kind of, you know, you get that extra motivation as well. So it's like you get double. Yeah. So
I think
just a little.
Brad's we've got the three of Kyle, me, and Jack there are coaches. Brad, who's the media guy, he's probably a similar level and a similar situation to a lot of people on the program. How have you know, Brad's, although you have been you class yourself as an athlete back in the day, you know, more of your day to day, enjoys doing CrossFit, enjoys putting in some hard work and training. How have you found? What have you found doing that's helped just keep you kind of like ticking over and you know, just sticking to keeping yourself active?
I think when we used to train a lot back in the day, I soon discovered that having an 8-foot wingspan, I was pretty good at rowing. So, and then over time, just working and stuff getting in the way, I kind of tailed off that. So I kind of having more time to myself now, just to do bits whatever I can while I was at home. I kind of thought, right, okay, I used to like rowing, like let me try and get back into that. So I found something that I really liked to do. Yeah. And so if it was, I don't know, if you like burpees, if you like press ups, maybe trying, as well as following the program, throw something at the start of the morning or the start of this session that'll just, I don't know, that you enjoy. And then for me, that kind of gets me, when I've been rowing every 2 to 3 days in the morning, it kind of puts me in a good mood for the rest of the day. And then with me personally, I like training early in the morning, and then that's done then. And then if I've got the time or I feel motivated or I feel I've got the energy to train again in the afternoon, in the evening, following, if it's the no bias I was following, and then I'd do that as well, which then I'd feel fantastic. I've done 2 sessions. If not, then I've still got that 1 session in for the day that was that like I actually enjoyed just because I liked whatever the movement was. Yeah. So I think
that motivation then carries on for the next day.
Yeah, it did. It did. Because
you're like, I've done that goal. Cool, I'll go for the next one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
so going back to goals
and all that,
it's probably good. Like I say, going back to you probably about setting goals, because motivation was a big thing for me for a while. I started working for myself, and all this stuff, other stuff got in the way, and then I kind of like tailed off. So I needed some motivation. So going back to doing something that like I just enjoyed, like a movement or like a set of movements that I just enjoyed. Doing them at some point within the week, like a few times, just kind of like picked me up a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not that unfit. I'm not that bad. Because you start getting inside your own head.
I think that goes alongside what Jack had written up in the newsletter that went out last week's newsletter.
Yeah.
Like engine and conditioning, Brad, is probably one of your strong points as an athlete. And not so much your strength, but you don't really have that much access to strength equipment. So it's pointless getting like stressed or worked up or demotivated. The fact that because it's not something that you can't control, but something that you can control is if you do have access to stuff that you like doing, then training motivation and training it's motivation and training. You know what I mean? It's going to put you in a better position. And you're more likely to have kept probably some strength just by doing things that you like doing, your body likes doing when all this is over. So, like, although, you know, it's good to work on your weaknesses and pull them up, you've just got to work with what you've got. And, you know, as a bonus, as a positive, at the end of this lockdown, there could be a lot of people that are very good at doing stuff that they enjoy, which I don't see much of a.
I think like you said, it always goes back to, especially in a time like this when everyone's kept up. You've only got like an hour. If you want to go outdoors and run to a park, I don't know, but I think keeping that motivation high or like positive at the minimum is
do the things you like doing.
Yeah, it's essential to keeping your training going, and like, and then when you feel good about your training, you end up getting better results because you felt you've had a really good training session. So then you'll go on, you won't have that Mars bar later on that's lying outside from Easter. You'll go and have a bowl of porridge instead, or some fruit or whatever, and it's like kind of rolls on, and then it just snowballs into a week's worth of like good training, mindset's feeling good, and the rest of it then follows.
Yeah, definitely.
It's actually when athletes are looking to peak for competition, so that they're going into competition with like a good mindset and they're confident. You'll often find that you start putting in the couple of months and weeks leading up to competition, you start putting back in stuff that the athlete's good at. One, so they can get more intensity because they can work harder, but two, because they enjoy it, and then they're going into the sessions like feeling more positive. Where for me, if it's let's say deadlifts, for example, and I'm going big old heavy deadlift workouts for the months leading into competition, it's one crippling me, two making me feel like shit, then three, it's going to make me go into competition feeling like not that great about myself. So it just reflects that, as well as there is bonuses of training that way. And then we were just talking about what happens when we have a date when all this is going to be getting back to normality. What's going to happen with the programs, and we spoke about this as a group, us four, the other week on our last call, about making sure that we've got plenty of stuff, plenty of information, and plenty of options for people when it does happen. But we've had a couple of questions recently asking, like, people are starting to want to know how will they do it when the gym's open again, like what's the best way to get back into the training. And what we've always done for a long time is we've given the set ranges, we've given the ranges of volume, and we also give the ranges of intensity, so the percentages of what you're working from. And I guess it depends on what you have or haven't had exposure to during this time. So someone like Brad there, for example, who's just got like home equipment, got a rower, but got maybe like dumbbell and bodyweight stuff. Like, he doesn't need to dumb the volume of rowing and bodyweight stuff and dumbbells, whatever, down, because that's what his body's used to. It can crack on and do that stuff as usual. But if he was to then go back into and get under a barbell and do some snatch and clean and jerk and some heavy squatting, if he was to then follow the higher end set ranges for those, he's going to hit a wall pretty quickly, or it's going to be a bit too much for his body to take, just jumping straight into the top end ranges. And we all know the top end ranges are pretty, it's quite a decent amount of volume. So just going bottom end ranges, bottom end intensity as a maximum, just for a couple of weeks, just to get things going again. And like I said, lower the expectations. Don't feel like you're going to go in, you're going to max out with your mates, you're going to equal PB or lift more because you've not lifted for so long. Like, just lower your expectations and build up to that a session like that in a month or so's time, after you've managed to get yourself back under it, back under the barbell or whatever you've not had access to. That, and we'll start putting, when we know the date, we'll start putting more stuff in that's going to prepare us to be able to get to be able to go underweight and do the strength work where we'll be most prepared to do it. So just things like isometric holds, just to make sure that we're getting as much tension in the body as possible, so that when we do go the week later under some back squats, that the knees and the hips and whatever are prepared to do so, and we're not just going into heavy back squats having not kind of like loaded up those muscle groups and got everything switched on first of all. So yeah, basically, don't worry about training wise. We'll have that in the programs, but it's on you guys. A bit of ownership on you guys to highlight the areas that you haven't been able to get access to, and then just drip feed the volume back up to where you were pre-lockdown. Okay. I think everyone's had a conversation with someone they're training with saying, as soon as this is over, I'm going to do this, that or the other. They're either going to go and have a big party and get most hungover they've ever been, or they're going to go and do a max out and just like snap the shit up as most they've ever been. Like everyone loves to go from one extreme to the other, but just don't be that guy or girl.
Too true.
Yeah.
Too true.
So we'll have that. We'll have all the training stuff planned out for you, and we'll get out plenty of information. Just kind of recapping what we've just said. There.
Yeah.
I think another good point just to touch on is, I know we spoke about it before, was when all this is over, I think within the month or two after it, we'll try and kick off the Super Saturdays that we touched on a while ago.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good to, obviously we want to get everyone, like obviously no one's been interacting with many people personally, like on a physical basis. Everyone's been over Zoom and WhatsApp and all that. So I think once getting them in place as well for you guys would be good. Everyone can throw some weight together and have a good crack and just get back to.
Yeah, that'd be good fun to do. And it's annoying that all this stuff came at this time because we just got off the ground. I think we had 13 gyms in the UK that had inquired and wanted to do it. We had a few overseas, a few in different across Europe. But that's something that as soon as we have a date, we'll be getting back in touch with the gyms, and we'll maybe give it a few weeks so that obviously because the gyms don't want to be. I guess the gyms will get quite busy over the couple of weeks that the lockdown's done. But that's definitely something to look forward to, and something that we'll definitely put more emphasis on over the remainder of the year and the future. Makes you realise how much you need a little bit of social interaction, as much as some people might annoy you.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Is there anything else you want to cover before we finish up?
I'll just touch on maybe just the if anyone's not seen them. I mean, I know they've been everywhere, but the athlete habits we've been putting out.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good. Them in terms of like in competition, in training, in touch on stuff like sleep and there's more to come. And they're all you can catch them on if you're going on Instagram. If you're in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So I'd advise go and check them out because they're pretty good to, especially in this time, in this climate. Yeah. They're pretty handy.
The sleep one's actually big as well for your mood and your motivation. Like it's quite easy when you're doing nothing to then not get that tired in the evening and not say do nothing, but you're doing your day-to-day jobs. You soon gets to 11 o'clock and you've been watching a Netflix series and it gets to 11:30 and then you're like, and then you go to bed and then you've lost an hour sleep and that over a week is a full night's sleep. And that's what one of the athlete habits on sleep we touched on is that can affect your performance a big amount, your recovery, but also your mood as well, just your day-to-day mood and your motivation.
I said that to you last week, didn't I? I said, I've just not been feeling that great this week, been a bit more short-tempered. And I did kind of know what it was. Like, I wasn't sleeping very well. Like, whether it was, I can't really put my finger on exactly what it was, but I just wasn't sleeping as good. And it was just reflecting on, like, just how I was day to day and training a little bit as well. Just like felt a little bit more sore than previous weeks when I was doing pretty much exactly the same amount of training. Just being aware of that, and it, like, if you aren't sleeping as well, like, and you feel like can't really pinpoint what it is, just be aware that it might just reflect on your training a little bit, and that's when you lower your your goals a little bit or whatever else. But be in tune with your body.
I think last thing worth mentioning is when all the lockdown happened, is we put out a daily little routine or a session about squat mobility and stability, and some sessions there that are going to help you squat a bit more efficiently. Hopefully, plenty of you saw them and just at least had a read and went through them. There's a lot of stuff there that'd be very useful, for the future when all this is over. But I've written out the program as a 10-session program, which covers ankle, hip, spine, and there's a bit of shoulder mobility, but more front rack related. Written that up as a 10-session program. It just needs some videos attaching, which I'm going to be shooting and uploading this week, and then we'll fire that out to you. And it'll be a separate kind of like fixed length program that as soon as you subscribe to, it'll be on your Fitter profile then for this foreseeable, and you'll always have access to it rather than having to go back. So I don't know, was it a month ago nearly when we put it in the live programs, and that's going to be free to everyone that's on the program, just as a way of us just saying thanks and appreciate just sticking with it and seeing it through, and then hopefully it'll give you a bit of extra motivation and a bit of extra focus for the remainder of however long this is going to last for. So yeah, watch out for that. I'll not say a day because what is it? What's the saying? Under promise, over whatever it's called.
No, I heard that one.
Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
It's a new one.
Under promise, or it's like basically if I was saying it'd be ready by Wednesday, and then it'll be ready. Then it wasn't ready on Wednesday. You'd be like, "Fuck's sake!" He said it was ready on Wednesday. But I don't tell you. If I say it's ready for 2 weeks, but it's ready on Thursday, I'd be like, "He's on it. This guy. This guy knows what he's doing." I can't remember what it is. Yeah. Cool. We'll crack on and talk about some more boring stuff, and I'll just finish the recording. So.
Seeing you.